Have you ever wondered why Spartan soldiers were known for their unwavering bravery and refusal to surrender? The answer lies deep within their unique upbringing, where the foundations of strength and resilience were laid long before they ever faced a battle. In this video, you'll learn about the surprising truths behind the Spartan mindset and what really drove them in battle. Prepare to discover that the reasons for their fearlessness go beyond mere warrior culture. What if I told you their training began long before they even picked up a sword? Spartan boys entered a rigorous training system known as agoge at the tender age of 7. This system was no ordinary school. It was a harsh, demanding environment that forged boys into men and warriors. Physical strength was essential, but so were discipline and survival skills. Imagine being just a child, stripped of comforts and thrust into a world where your very survival depended on how well you adapted. The agoge intentionally exposed these young boys to hardships, from enduring cold winters to facing starvation. These challenges were designed to build resilience and foster unity among peers. The goal was clear: create not just soldiers, but brothers in arms who would rely on one another during the fiercest battles. This intense bond was critical, as it instilled a profound sense of loyalty and duty, making the thought of surrender seem unfathomable. As these boys grew into men, the agoge became a crucible, shaping their minds and spirits. It taught them that they were part of something much larger than themselves, a proud tradition of Spartan warriors. This environment left an indelible mark on their psyche, creating soldiers who felt immense pressure to uphold their heritage. So, how did this unique upbringing shape their attitude towards surrendering? The answer lies in the culture they were steeped in. Spartans were taught from an early age that surrender was not just a failure, it was a betrayal of everything they stood for. In their eyes, to surrender was to bring shame upon themselves, their families, and their city-state. This ingrained belief was a powerful motivator, pushing them to fight fiercely, often to the death. The Spartan upbringing, therefore, did not merely prepare them for battle. It instilled in them an unshakable commitment to never give in, no matter the odds. As we delve deeper into the Spartan ethos, we'll uncover how this rigorous training and powerful mindset came together to create an unparalleled warrior culture. Did you know that Spartans had a different view of honor compared to other cultures? Honor was not just a buzzword for them. It was a core value deeply ingrained from childhood. For Spartans, the very fabric of their society revolved around this concept, shaping their actions and their identities as warriors. But what does this truly mean in the context of why they never surrendered? Spartans believed that dying in battle brought more glory than living with shame. Imagine growing up in an environment where the thought of retreat was not just frowned upon, but considered one of the worst possible outcomes. For them, surrender was not a strategy, it was a disgrace. The idea of being taken captive or admitting defeat weighed heavily on their psyche. It was so profound that it was seen as a fate worse than death, fueling a relentless drive to fight until the end. Their reputation as fierce warriors was critical to maintaining their status and influence in the ancient world. Every battle was a stage, and they were determined to uphold their legacy of valor. Spartans understood that their actions in the heat of battle would echo through history. This reputation was a double-edged sword. It instilled pride but also immense pressure. To fail in battle was to fail their family, their city-state, and their ancestors. So how did this honor culture impact their willingness to fight to the last breath? The impact was monumental. When faced with overwhelming odds, Spartans were not paralyzed by fear or uncertainty. Instead, they were emboldened by the weight of their culture's expectations. In their minds, surrender was not an option. It was unthinkable. They would rather die fighting than live in shame, which created a fierce and unyielding spirit. This mindset made them extraordinarily formidable opponents, willing to engage in battles that many would avoid. As we explore further, we'll see how the concept of honor intertwined with their upbringing and military training. You'll start to understand that the Spartan ethos was built on a foundation of values that transcended mere physical combat. They were driven by a legacy, a community, and a profound sense of duty that defined who they were as soldiers. So what lessons can we learn from this honor culture, and how can it apply to our lives today? Let's dive deeper into the unique military training and tactics that complemented this warrior spirit. What if I told you that Spartan tactics were designed specifically to minimize the likelihood of surrender? The Spartan military was renowned not just for its bravery, but for its unique approach to warfare that created an environment where retreat was simply not an option. Central to this strategy was the use of the phalanx formation, a tactical arrangement that emphasized teamwork and discipline. In the phalanx, soldiers stood shoulder to shoulder, forming a solid wall of shields that made it incredibly difficult for enemies to break through. This tight formation allowed Spartans to present a unified front, bolstering their confidence as they fought together. Imagine being part of a unit where each soldier felt the weight of responsibility not just to themselves but to their comrades. The fear of letting each other down was often more powerful than the fear of death itself. Their training didn't just focus on physical strength, it ingrained a sense of loyalty and cohesion that became their greatest asset in battle. Spartan soldiers trained relentlessly, rehearsing their formations and maneuvers until they became second nature. They practiced facing overwhelming odds, instilling in them the belief that they could triumph against any enemy. This intense preparation played a crucial role in shaping their mentality. Retreat wasn't just a failure, it was a betrayal of everything they had worked for. Spartans were taught to remain calm and strategic even when the odds were stacked against them. This confidence was not unfounded. It came from years of rigorous training where they learned to trust in their abilities and the strength of their comrades. The feeling of power that came from being part of a well-drilled unit drastically reduced the chances of surrender. They knew that standing and fighting together increased their chances of survival far more than fleeing ever would. As we delve deeper, we will explore how these military strategies not only defined their battles, but also the very essence of Spartan culture. Their way of fighting set the tone for future generations and established a legacy that resonates even today. But what specific tactics did they use to shift the dynamics of battle in their favor? Let's find out how the Spartans carved their name in history through sheer determination and innovative military strategies. How did the leaders of Sparta shape the soldiers' resolve in battle? Spartan leadership was characterized by a unique blend of authority, inspiration, and legacy that had a profound impact on the soldiers' determination to fight without surrendering. At the forefront were their kings and generals, revered figures who played a pivotal role in motivating their troops. These leaders were not just commanders, they were symbols of Spartan ideals, embodying the very essence of courage and resilience. Take King Leonidas, for example. He became a legend not only for his valor at the Battle of Thermopylae, but also for his ability to galvanize his men. His famous stand against overwhelming Persian forces epitomized the Spartan spirit. His actions inspired countless soldiers, making them believe that true honor lay in bravery, even in the face of certain death. The tales of such leaders created a culture where emulating their courage was a point of pride, fostering a deep-rooted sense of duty among the soldiers. The legacy of past battles also played a crucial role in shaping the Spartan mindset. The stories of previous confrontations, especially the heroic stand at Thermopylae, fueled a collective determination to uphold the ideals of Spartan warfare. These narratives were woven into the fabric of their society, reinforcing the belief that surrender was not just a failure but a betrayal of their ancestors and comrades. Spartans were raised on these tales, instilling in them an unyielding resolve to fight to the last breath. Moreover, the emotional bonds forged between soldiers and their leaders were instrumental in creating an environment where surrender was simply not an option. The mutual respect and loyalty between the troops and their commanders cultivated a sense of unity that was unmatched. Soldiers felt a deep obligation, not only to their leaders but also to their fellow warriors. This camaraderie meant that in the heat of battle, when fear and uncertainty crept in, they found strength in each other, pushing them to stand firm against any enemy. The lessons we can draw from the Spartan model of leadership are relevant even today. Strong leadership that inspires and motivates can create a culture of resilience and unity. Understanding how leaders shape their followers can offer insights into fostering loyalty and courage in modern contexts. Whether in the military, sports teams, or even corporate environments, the Spartans exemplified how leadership goes beyond commands. It's about inspiring individuals to embrace their potential and face challenges head-on. By the end of this video, you will have a clearer understanding of why Spartan soldiers were renowned for their unyielding resolve in battle. The refusal to surrender is not just a tale of bravery, it's a complex tapestry woven from their upbringing, a deep-seated sense of honor, effective military tactics, and the powerful influence of their leaders. We began our journey by examining the Spartan upbringing, where boys were thrust into a rigorous training regimen called the agoge. This system was not just about learning to fight, it was about instilling resilience and a sense of brotherhood. Spartans were conditioned to rely on each other, building a bond that made surrender seem not only shameful but impossible. Next, we delved into the Spartan concept of honor. In their society, dying in battle was a more noble fate than living with the stigma of surrender. This cultural perception shaped their actions on the battlefield, driving them to fight fiercely rather than face the dishonor of giving up. Their reputation as fierce warriors was paramount, and it fueled their relentless pursuit of victory. We then explored the tactical aspects of Spartan warfare. Their use of the phalanx formation was a game changer. It emphasized teamwork, making retreat not just difficult, but nearly unthinkable. Each soldier fought not just for themselves, but for their comrades, enhancing their resolve and reducing the likelihood of surrender. This sense of unity made them feel powerful, ready to face overwhelming odds together. Finally, we looked at the pivotal role of leadership in shaping the Spartan mindset. Leaders like King Leonidas inspired not only through their actions, but also through the legends that surrounded them. The emotional bonds between soldiers and their leaders created an atmosphere where surrender was not an option. In conclusion, the Spartan ethos was a powerful combination of upbringing, honor, tactics, and leadership. Understanding this interplay allows us to appreciate the soldiers not merely as fierce fighters, but as individuals molded by a society that prioritized courage above all else. Now, as you reflect on these elements, consider how modern leadership and cultural values shape our own responses to challenges. What can we learn from the Spartans that could apply to our lives today? Embracing resilience, unity, and a strong sense of purpose can lead us to our victories, just as it did for the legendary warriors of Sparta. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.